Hey, what's up guys, welcome to Laratips. This is the first video in this series after the introduction video where we'll be creating the to-do application and create the CRUD operations. After this, we'll be deploying this application to the production server using Cloudways. And thanks to Cloudways for sponsoring this video. Now let's get started. On the Laravel documentation, we can go on the installation section and here we can see how we can install the Laravel. There are several ways, but we will be using this Laravel new. And also by default, Laravel gives us three options, either Vue.js or React or Livewire, but we are not going to be using all these. We will be using plain Blade so that it will be easier even for the beginners to understand this project. You can see here on the starter kit section, we can install the new Laravel application by using a starter kit. The starter kit that we are using is this, the Blade starter kit. And you can see here how we can install the Laravel. So now let's install the to-do application. So we'll say here Laravel new to-do using this starter kit and hit enter. And yes, we'll run npm. So we'll hit enter. It has installed our Laravel applications. Now let us open it in the VS Code. You can see the Laravel project over here. Now let me initialize this in a GitHub repository. After this, let's say initialize project and hit on commit. Now let us set up the project. There are so many things that comes by default with the Blade starter kit and we don't need some of them. So let us remove those. Now let us move to the app, models and user. So here we'll remove this fillables because we don't need this, okay? And email verified at also will not be using. And now let us go to app service provider, which is inside this app providers folder. And here in the boot method, let us add this model on guard. So this means that the mass assignment is disabled for this project and we'll be handling that by ourselves. So if you want to know more about this mass assignment, then you can check out in the documentation. After this, let us move to the migration users table. So from here, we'll remove this email verified at. And then this sessions table will not be using database as a session driver. And then here also we'll remove this. And we don't need this cache table because we'll not be using database as a cache driver. So we'll just delete this file. And now here in the jobs table, we don't need these tables because we'll be using Redis, which we'll be using through Cloudways. So here I'll just remove this. And we'll only need this failed job because sometimes some jobs may fail and that will be stored into the database by Laravel for us, which we can again retry. Now let's move to the database seeder, which is inside this database and seeders folder. So instead of this test, we'll just be making our own custom, which is Laratips and laratips@todo.test. Now let us move to .env file. Here, let's change this to to-do. Here we have todo.test. Now let's move to this database connection. Let us remove this SQLite and change to MySQL like this. For me, the database is to-do, username is root, and the password is password. For you, this can be different. You might have remembered that we have removed the session driver from the migration. So now we'll be changing this to file because earlier the session driver used to be a file, but in the latest Laravel version, they have changed to database, but we'll be sticking to file. Also, here is the cache store. We'll be changing it to Redis. And here we have Redis configuration. For the password, I'll add to password like this. But for you, you can just leave it to null. Okay, we have done some changes to our project. Now let us go to the browser and open the project. Before that, I have to do some setup because I have installed Laravel Horde. So here I'll go here in the Laravel Horde and in the sites. And here I am searching for the project to do. So this is the project that I am currently working on. And you can see we can change the node version. Let me change it to the latest one, 22. And for the PHP 8.3, let us keep it as it. And also we can just make it secure. So here I'll double click it and make it secure. You can see here. So after this, let me go to this app URL and change this to HTTPS. And now let me move to the browser. Let's say todo.test. And you can see here it is opening HTTPS and the default Laravel welcome home screen. You can also install Horde in your Mac. And if you don't know anything about how to install the project, Laravel project on your machine, then you can go ahead and check out some other YouTube video tutorials. And you can also check one of my videos in the YouTube, which I'll be linking in the description. Now let us commit and let's say setup for this. Now let us start the to-do card. First of all, we will be listing the to-dos. Before that, let us create a model. For PHP Artisan, I will be saying PA. So you can see here ALIAS PA, then it is PHP Artisan for me, okay? PA, and if we are using hard, then you have to prefix by hard like this. So I will be just using PA because it will use hard PHP Artisan. PHP Artisan make model to do, and I will be making a migration as well as a factory. All these are created. Now let us go to the migration. I have added some fields over here. These are the user ID, means the user who have created the to-do. This is the title description. Due at means when the to-do needs to be completed. Reminder at is the date when the user will be reminded via email. We'll send the user email at this date. So this must be before the due date or at the due date. Is completed is a Boolean value. So if it is completed, then it will be true, otherwise false. And is reminder sent. So we'll be using this in order to track whether the reminder is sent or not. And we'll be using cron job to send the reminder and setting this is reminder set to true after the reminder has been set. Now let us go to to-do factory. Here I have also added some of the files over here. You can use this fake helper method to create several data for each of the columns. For user ID, we'll say user factory, which means whenever we create a to-do, then a user will also be automatically created for this one. So title is fake sentence. This is optional, the paragraph. The due at date, which we are setting like this. This due at is optional, but 80% of the time it will get filled, okay? And the value will be in between 1 week and after 1 month, like that. And here reminder at, it will be if there is a due date, then we are going to be reminding. So the value will be 1 week before or the due date. So it will be in between those values. And Boolean, so 20% it will be true, otherwise false. And reminder sent, I'm just setting it to false. We will not be using this, so I'm just removing this. Now let us move to to-do model. Sorry, not this one, but this one, to-do model. So here I have added a cast, which means that due at will be casted to date time, which is a carbon instance. Similarly for the reminder at, so instead of just a plain string, it will give us the carbon instance whenever we access the due at from this model. So each completed is Boolean and each reminder set is also Boolean. You will see all of these in action whenever we are showing these data in the list. Now let us move to the database seeder, and here we'll add this line to do factory and we'll create 50 to-dos. Also, we haven't run the migration, so let us run the migration. Okay, first PHP Artisan migrate. Here I don't have this database, so it is asking me whether to create it or not. So I'll say yes. So after this, we'll say PHP Artisan DB seed. So we are getting some issues over here. Okay, it is saying email verified at couldn't find. So we'll go in the user factory and we'll remove this image verified at because we removed this from the migration file. So we have to remove it from here as well. And this one also we don't need. Okay, so we'll remove this one also. Now let us again run PHP Artisan migrate fresh seed. It will just dump all the databases, rerun the migration, and again seed the data for us. So everything has been completed. Now let us move to this browser. And again, you can see here nothing is there, but we already have created. If you see here, database seeder, from this we have created this Laratips @todo.test. So we'll go here, Laratips @todo.test, and password is the password. I'll just click here, remember me, and click on login. Now we can log in. Okay, so I have a package called this DB, focus on DB view, and we can connect to this. Where is this one? Connection. So whenever we are in our Laravel application, it will automatically connect to our database. So I have these users, okay, lots of users and to-dos. Whenever we seeded those to-dos, it created these users also, okay. For each to-do, it created one user. You can see here the data. And let me show you the installed extension. This is installed. So this is the extension, okay, devdb. And I'll be leaving the link of this one also in the description. Now let us go to web.php. You can see here a lot of routes are over here. Let us just keep these as is because here in the dashboard we have so many things. Okay, here settings, so we can just change the profile, password, appearance, everything. So those are the routes that are required for this. Now let us create a controller. PHP Artisan make controller to do controller. The controller has been created. You can see here. And now let us go here and add this route resource to do controller. it will create all those listing, storing, updating, everything route for us. You can check out this route resource in the documentation. So now let us go in the controller. So let us create index method. Okay, let me show you the route list also. PA PHP artisan route list, and here we'll say to do. You can see here all these routes have been created for us. Now here we'll get the to-dos and return that data to the view. So here I am getting the to-do like this. To-do query where user ID is the authenticated user ID. This will be Illuminate Support Facades auth, which is imported over here. This will give us the user currently authenticated user ID. We are logged in as Laratips at todo.test, so that user ID it will give us. And it will be ordering by the reminder at in the descending order, and then we are paginating and we are returning to this view. Okay, so here we'll go to do. Okay, so for now let's say to do like this, but it is saying internal server error because there is no todo.index. So let us create this view, todos.index. It has been created, so it is like this. So dashboard has this data like this. So let us just copy it and paste it over here like this. And let me just say over here to-do list like this. Okay, and now if I refresh, then we can see this to-do list like this, which means that we can now access this to-do route. And here we have passed. So let us also, let's say to-dos, and we are passing this to-dos, okay, this data over here, which we can access like this. So here like this, let's say @dd and to-dos like this, and refresh, you can see here the data is over here. So for now, let us just remove this user ID, because if you see here in the database seeder, we haven't created any to-do for this user, so it is not showing. So now let me just refresh it, and you can see here there are 10, okay, because we have paginated by using this. Okay, so now let me go here. I'll add some code over here and I'll come back. So I have added some code over here. Now let me go here and refresh the page. You can see this. Okay, so let me just zoom it for you a little bit. So here is this add new, this one, which is todos.create, and here this title, due date, reminder date, completed, reminder sent, everything has been added over here. And then again all this, we are looping through each to-dos. We are getting from here, passing this to-dos from here and looping through all this, and we are showing title and due at. You can see here now. I'll show you here in the to-do. We are casting this to date time. So because of this, we are getting here carbon instance. So on carbon instance, we can call to date time string, and then it will show data like this. And if it is not available, it will show null because we have added this like this. So a question mark over here. Similarly, if it is completed, then we'll show yes or no. So currently it is not showing green or red. And for the edit section, we'll just go to this todo.edit, and whenever we click on here, you can see here on the top left corner. Okay, so it is showing /edit URL. And similarly for the delete, we are just showing this. This is Alpine.js, which is internally being used by this UI kit, and this X button. Okay, this is also so many, there are so many components that come with this UI kit. If you go here in the components and then buttons, then you can see here this index. Okay, so we are just doing this. So if we pass here href, then it will convert this button into a tag. Similarly for the forms also, we have, if you see here inside the forms, then we'll see this, and here in the slot we can add this, and whenever this form is submitted, we'll prevent the default action, and then we'll show this. Are you sure you want to delete it? And if they click on yes, then we will just submit this form, so which is this route. Okay, the method is delete. If we pass the method delete over here, then it will add it over here, and the CSRF token is also automatically included. You don't have to worry about this. So this is just a basic thing. So whenever we click on it, just asking the confirmation, and then if it is confirmed, then we are just submitting to this method. And you can see here we are showing here text green or red based on the it's completed, but here it is not showing because we have to go here in the app.css. It is only included the files that is inside the views folder. So only inside this, not components, but only inside this views folder, this dashboard and welcome, not all the files that are nested inside. So here we'll say views slash like this, and .blade.php like this, then it will include all the nested files and folders over here, okay, inside this trace folder. And then we'll call npm run dev. So after this, let me refresh, and you can see this no is red in color and yes is green in color. So all the Tailwind CSS classes are picked up. We have completed the listing of the to-dos. Now let us also add the to-do here in the navbar. For that, we have to go into the sidebar component, which is this first one, layouts app sidebar. So after this, let me add the to-dos like this. So here I am adding this icon. So to-do.index is the list route, and we want to make this active if there is anything after the to-do dot, and then the name is to-do. So these icons, it is coming from, so this one, first per icons, okay. So you can just search for it and you can just add that. So I'm showing here list dash checks. You can see here, which is coming from over here and just prefixed by this. Now let us move to our to-do Laravel, and you can see here the to-dos, and it is automatically active because we are currently in the to-do. And since we have done this asterisk, so whatever to-do.store or to-do.edit for everything, it will get active. Now let us add a commit over here. Now let's see how we can create a to-do. For that, let us also show all the to-dos of the currently authenticated user, and let us go to the database seeder and let us create to-dos for this user also. For that, let us define the relationship of user and to-do. So let's move to this user model. A user can have many to-dos, so we'll define has many relationship over here, and we'll say this has many to-dos. Now let's move to the to-do class and define a relationship with the user. So here the to-do will be belonging to one user, so we'll say belongs to a user like this. Now here in the database seeder, we can define the factories using those relationships. So instead of this, we'll say here user factory has 50 to-dos. So for this user, it has 50 to-dos, okay. And similarly here, create 50 users, and for each user create 50 to-dos. So it will take a little bit more time, so I'll just say here 10, okay. Now let us rerun the migration. So I'll create a new tab over here, PA migrate fresh, and reset the database. So here if I refresh, then you can see here we are getting here 50 results, because for the current user we have this, okay. For this user we have 50 to-dos. But now if I just go over here in the to-do controller and remove this and refresh, you can see there are a lot of data over here. Let me just uncomment this, and for only this user we have 50 to-dos. So now let's say so to-dos as per user. If we go here and click on add new, then we are seeing this error. Now let us implement this, create new to-do. So for that, we'll go here in the to-do controller and we'll add a create method, and it will return this create view. So we are showing this, there is no create method. So we have created that. Now it has shown us the different error. So we'll create this todos.create view, okay. Make view todos.create. So we'll go here. Now let me add some code over here and I'll come back. Okay, I have added this code over here. All these headings and these forms and these inputs are coming from this UI kit, okay. So here is the create to do. Let's say create to do also over here. And then we are submitting to this todos.store method as a post request. And here is title, description, this is date time, due at, reminder at is completed is a checkbox, and then there is a create button. Now if I refresh, then you can see here title, this description, due date, reminder date, and completed. And you can see that this text area is not showing properly, this description, because we have to do some changes over here in the text area, okay. So it is by default like this, but we'll do some changes over here. So I have added it like this. So this is a field, and if there is a label, we will show the label, and the text area, this is same as previous one. And if there is error, we'll show this error, and it is inside a field, okay. You can see here the description is shown because we have passed the label here, description from here like this. Now let us fill some data over here. So let's say test, and let's say due date is on the 17th and reminder is on the 16th, and let's say it is not completed, and click on create, then it will give us some error because this store method is not there. So let us create this store method on the to-do controller. So here it is. So the store method will look like this. So whenever that is submitted, we are creating a to-do application and returning to the index route saying that to-do created successfully. Okay. Now let us also create this to-do request. So this one will validate the data that we are submitting. So let's say PHP artisan make request to-do request. Let's go there and let us remove this one because we don't need it. And here, let me add some rules. So title is required. It must be a string, maximum 255 characters. Description is maximum 5000, which is nullable. Due at is also nullable. Reminder is nullable. Completed at is boolean. And due at is this. It must be year month date in this date format. And reminder at, if it is present, then also it must be in this format. Okay. Now let me import this one to the request. And we are saying request safe. So this safe will only get those parameters that are defined in this validation rule. So that's why in the app service provider, we have added this on guard because we will be validating the data by ourselves. We don't want to guard a model. So from this one, we are getting the data and merging the currently authenticated ID. So here in the to-dos table, you can see here, there is this user ID also. So we have to fill that using the currently authenticated user ID. So let me just take this, okay, and do DD over here so that you will get the idea. So like this. Now let me go here in the add new and let me just fill some random data away for now and click on create. Then you can see all those data are coming in. But let's say we just did this without this safe, okay? We just did this request all. And if I refresh and click on continue, then we are getting so many other random things also, okay? So malicious user can send any data from the form. Because of that, we are validating and using this safe one. And we are using this merge method to add this user ID to that array. And we are passing this array and creating a new to-do and then returning to this. So now the title is this one, okay? Now if I again resubmit it, then you can see here, this is, okay. So for now, let us just go to here in the to-do controller. And instead of this, let us do this latest ID, okay? And you can see here this to-do has already been created, but we cannot see the message. You can see here, we have passed the message, this to-do created successfully. For that to show, let us create a model. Now let me go here inside this one, okay? Inside the views and components folder, let me create a file called success message model.plate.php. And I'll add the code over here like this. So if there is a success message in the session, then only this model will be shown. And this model is already present over here in this UI kit. So I'm just using that. And this success message I'm passing from here. Okay. If this is present in the session, then this message will show. So this is just a component. We have to use this for it to be visible. So we'll be using this model in that sidebar one that we have been using. We'll just add it over here like this. Now, let me add a new one. So this one. And you can see here the success, it is showing to-do created successfully. And if I again refresh, then it will not show because this one, it will only flash to the session once and then it will remove it. Now we have successfully completed the creation of the to-do also. So let us commit here. Now let us move to the edit section. So for now, if we click here on the edit section, then we are getting this error message, which means that this edit method is not present. So let me quickly add that in this to-dos controller. Let me quickly add the code over here. To-dos create and will pass the to-do. So here we are using route model binding. So this is the to-do model. And if we just name it as the to-do as a variable, then the to-do model will be automatically injected over here. Now if I just do dd the to-do over here, and you can see here we are getting the to-do with this ID 553 ID and this one. You can see ID is there and the name is there. We are also passing this data to the same this to-dos create. So now here let me just pass this here like this and we'll pass here new to-do like this. Okay, if we do it like this, then it will be easier for us to access this to-do variable in this to-dos.create. Now let us move to here and refresh, but nothing is filled over here. Now let us go to this view to-dos.create and let us add some data over here. So here on the form, so if it is a creation, we are just storing it, but it is edit, then we are updating the data. For that, we have to just modify it like this. So there is this exist property on the model by which we can check whether the model actually exists in the database or not. So if there is a to-do, then we'll say put method, otherwise post method, and on the actions, we'll just do update if to do exist, and if it doesn't exist, then we'll do store. Now if I refresh it, and let me just show you this here in the inspection tool, and here in the form we can see here this edit cloud, okay, and here this is the put. So after this, let us fill this form with the to do with this ID. Here we'll pass the value as to do title. Now if we see here in the to do controller, so here we are passing this new, okay. So if we go on the create section, this to do title will return null, so nothing will be filled over here. But if we go here in the edit section, to do title will pass the actual title of that to do, and it will get filled over here. Now you can see here it is being filled, okay. Similarly we will do for all these fields. I'll do it and come back. So now you can see here I have added this description, due at, reminder at, it's completed, this on the checked one for this checkbox, and if the to do exists, then update, otherwise create. And now we can see here everything is being filled nicely. Now let us submit this, okay, update, but it is throwing error because there is no update method. So let us create that. To do controller, here we'll be using the same to do request that we have created earlier. So you can see here the rules, and for this update also, here we'll get the to do from the ID that is coming from the URL, and then everything is same. So every data that is coming from the request will be using those to update this model, but we'll only use the safe. And then here we'll redirect back to the to do index, and the message will be to do updated successfully. But here you can see here, prepare for validation. I have done this, so I forgot to show you this one on the create one also. So this will run before this validation rules are run, okay. So first it will go here, and the due at will get this T, okay. Whenever we submit that form, we'll get this T. We are just replacing this T with the space and just getting this due date, okay. So let me just do here dd request all like this. Okay, now let me just, for now let me do this for the new one. So here if I just click on create, then you can see here this T is added here. So before validation, we are just removing that T over here. So let me just remove this, and let's say dd $this all like this, okay. This is also, we are inside the request, so we can just do this. So here I'll say dump is all. So this will be before and this will be after. So now here I'll resubmit, and before it was like this and after it is like this. The T has been removed so that we can properly validate the data. So let me remove this one as well as this one. So we have done it like this. So let me go back and let me edit this one, okay. So here, so let's say 2 over here, and let's say completed, okay. You can see here to do has been updated successfully. So the title has also been updated, and completed has been also changed to yes. Now if I again click on edit, then this will be also checked, and this will be 2. We have now completed the update also. Now let us commit over here. Let's say edit to do. So now let us move to the delete section. So here we'll say to do index, and here is the deleting code, okay. So now if I go to the to dos and click on delete, are you sure you want to delete this to do? So this message is coming from here. So if I say cancel, then nothing will happen. But if I click on this and click on OK, an error is showing, which means that we don't have the destroy method. So let us create that. Let me add the code over here. So it will be destroy, and you can see here the ID is over here. So we can pass this, add this to do over here. So we'll delete the to do and then return back with the successful message that to do has been deleted successfully. So now let us go back, refresh it. And for this error one, so let us click on delete and OK. And you can see here to do has been deleted successfully, and that is gone from here. Okay, now let us commit this one also as delete to do. So we have successfully completed the CRUD operation. There is so much more thing to do, but we'll continue that in the next episode. Now in the next episode, we'll be deploying this to the production application using Cloudways. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.